Are we rolling? Yes, we are. What's up, guys? It's boy McKinley Crain here, and today I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free not my spoiler-free movie review, my spoiler-free review. It's just my spoiler-free review, because this isn't a movie. So, today I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free review of Season 1, Episode 1 of the new Disney Plus Marvel Cinematic Universe show, WandaVision. So, after 6 months after, I think it was like 6 months after it was originally supposed to come out, more like 7, we finally got it. We finally got this show. And let me just say, it was worth the wait. And I loved it. I thought it was perfect. I enjoyed it. I absolutely loved it. So, let me, before we get more into this, let me just say that, two episodes of WandaVision were actually dropped today, so I've not only seen Season 1, Episode 1, I've also seen the second episode, which I'm gonna review in the next video, but, I'm reviewing Season 1, Episode 1, the first episode in this video, so I'm only gonna talk about Season 1, Episode 1 in this video. So, anyway, this series stars Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff, and it also stars Paul Bettany as Vision. And let me just say, this is a very, very unique show. It's a very, 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 new breath of fresh air for the MCU, if you know what I mean. What I mean by this is, it's not what you would expect a show about Wanda and Vision to be about. It's not like how you would expect a show about Marvel characters to be like, you know what I'm saying? This is not an action show. This is a sitcom. It's very aware of what it is, if that makes sense. It knows that it's a Marvel show, so of course we've got this story of this mystery, this whole mystery about these characters, about why it's this way. The thing about this show is not just oh, well, let's just take action action movie characters, Marvel characters who are usually in action movies, and just randomly put them in, a sitcom, and just never explain why, and just have it stay that way. Well, the thing about this series is, it does randomly put these characters in a sitcom, but, part of the story is, explaining why it's this way. Why everything is so different. Why this series is what it is. Why it's so different. Why Wanda and Vision's lives are so different from what they were last time we saw them. I can't really get into a lot of it because, a lot of those would be spoilers, and a lot of those little things would be spoilers, and this is a spoiler-free review. But yeah, this show is it's really different. It's like a really different kind of show, and I dig it. I love it. It's awesome. I love this. I love what they did with it. It's a bizarre premise, but it works very well. This show has a lot of humor. Actually, has a lot of humor. And the humor works. It works. A lot of the humor in this episode made me laugh. I found it funny, and another thing about this TV show is it makes fun of so this particular episode, is supposed to be basically like a whole throwback to 1950s sitcoms. So it literally makes fun of 1950s stereotypes and 1950s sitcoms. And, it also, like, kind of, like, makes you nostalgic for the 1950s. Even though everyone who's watching this video should know, I was obviously not born nor alive in the 1950s. No, I was born in 2003, which is 2003 was quite a while after the 1950s. I love this episode. It's brilliant. This episode and this show is very faithful to it's very faithful to its source material, which is, Marvel, obviously. Just the whole Marvel storyline, the whole, like, it's very faithful to, like, the MCU in general, while also being very faithful to what it's, like, making fun of, if that makes sense. Like, it's very faithful to 1950s sitcoms, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of, like, a lot of the stuff in here, and just a lot of the execution is very like, 1950-ish. 1950s, if you know what I mean. Like, there's like a lot of stuff where you're just like, in this episode, where you're just like, yeah, that feels like it was straight out of a 1950s sitcom. And this episode also has its mysterious moments that, slowly build up to, like, that are, like, slowly building up to, like, revealing, like, the big answer why. The big answer to the question, which is why things are this way. And I can't wait. And, this episode and this show is, like, this episode is just, mostly very lighthearted, but at certain times it can get very intense. And it works. It works, trust me. Anyway, I'm going to give this episode... okay, before I do that, I have to say some other things. Okay, let's talk about Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, however you pronounce his last name, aka Wanda and Vision. Their chemistry is fantastic, man. I mean, their chemistry is part of what makes this show what it is. So perfect, Just their dialogue is great. Their dialogue is perfect. The acting in the show is perfect. The dialogue in this show is perfect. The editing in the show is perfect. The special effects in the show are perfect. In this episode specifically. Anyway, this is just a perfect episode to a perfect show. To what has been so far a perfect show. Anyway, I'm going to give this episode a 100% out of 100%, which is the equivalent of an A+. Like, subscribe, join the notification squad. And if you've seen this episode, tell me down below in the comments what you thought of it. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you mildly dislike it? Did you have mixed feelings on it? What'd you think? Tell me down below. I will return.